power of this technology goes so far beyond what like the typical like table conversation about VR gives it credit for. You know, like we talk about it as like a useful tool or an immersive, fun experience, but what we're talking about is like truly transformational.
It should be perfectly possible to trick your brain into any experience if your brain can already do that itself naturally. So VR is almost like taking that ability for our brain to generate any experience for us and like putting it in our hands, which is wild.
Man, that's something in the history books. People are going to look back and be like, yeah, 2022, 2023. That's when education, after hundreds of years, finally upgraded.
We're in a strange time where our physical worlds are intersecting with our digital identities, and right now is a time to kind of determine what you want that to be.
Once you have full body tracking that works well and it's frictionless, right? Meaning it's easy to do.
Yes.
It's a whole new. It's not a game changer, it's a whole new game.
So maybe there will be some other people who would be curious to see what I'm learning, what I'm discovering, so to say. And that's how the Discover YouTube channel started.
Oh, not really disco VR, Discover.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel bad when people ask me about VR, or they're like, what do you do? Like, all right. You asked.
Yes.
Here it comes.
I love VR, but I love going out and breathing fresh air. And not only was I stuck in VR for 10 days, I was stuck in one room because I was streaming, the same space. I didn't see the sunlight. I totally lost track of what time everything was.
She dances with the robot. She does the first steps. She dances with that robot. She takes that thing off her fist. I have the video. I'm holding it hostage. She takes it off her head and she says, I gotta have it.
There are a few moments in my life I can remember very vividly. The day I got married, the day my kids were born, the day Facebook announced that they bought Oculus is one of those days. I was making chili.
I've been in a lot of gaming communities, and the VR community is by far the best community that I've ever been involved with.
Everyone, and welcome back to the Between Realities VR podcast. Woo! Oh, give me that. It's mine. I didn't say you could touch that. Audio listeners didn't get to see it.
Nope.
All right, tune in on YouTube, okay, peeps?
Yes, to see all the magic of the water bottles.
That's right. That's right. It is like Between Realities colors, like it fit with
it. Does. It is.
I was fine with it.
It's a nice bottle.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Maybe what fits better is this Between Realities coffee mug that I'm drinking coffee out of right now.
That the audience could also get their hands on if they would like by going to the link in our description for our merch.
Wow.
Grab that beautiful. So for some reason, coffee tastes better in a Between Realities coffee mug, doesn't it?
Dude, I got to tell you, yes, it does. I'm experiencing it right now. This is probably the best cup of coffee I've ever had.
Heck yeah.
Well, it's on par with the best cup of coffee I've ever had.
On par. I can deal with that.
Well, it tastes great. Friday tastes great. We're here, baby.
Doesn't it though?
It does. It's been a week.
Man, it's been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks since we've done this show. Yes, it has been.
That it has.
All kinds of things have happened.
Yes. Today, first of all, hi. Hello.
What's up,
everyone? I'm Alex. My name's Alex. I'm one half of the Between Realities crew. The other half sitting next to me, it's Skiva. Hello. Bro.
What's up, man?
You're doing pretty good. I already know.
I'm doing well.
We've established that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. Why was it 2 weeks?
Because we were at MetaConnect.
Oh, yeah.
Hanging out with awesome people, playing with cool tech, and just having a good time. And but it's never as good of a time as hanging out with our people here, with our live chat and our audience. This guy.
Hey, wait,
oh my God.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure. I love these people. Look at these beautiful people we have here right now.
You're not wrong. This is fun. This is great.
It is.
I love doing this. I love seeing the names in the chat. I love seeing you here on the spaceship every week. But there's not a lot that compares to being in the room with a lot of VR people, like in the flesh. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
this is true. There is that
so good.
in the flesh energy that happens that is very hard to replicate, even in like social VR platforms and stuff. It's still really tough.
Yep.
So being there and sharing that passion and having everyone so excited, sharing in those moments together is truly special.
It really is. And it was a great time. You know, we saw so many of our friends. I'm sure I don't know, maybe we will or maybe we won't touch on it a little bit. I saw you had some stuff queued up.
I have our album.
Yeah, maybe we'll touch on it.
If we want to, yeah.
We could touch on it quickly and just share some of the pictures that we took, because I haven't shared anything on social media yet from Connect. I might take a page out of...
Yeah, I did very, very little. Just, a couple pictures, I think. Yeah. Yeah, well, it was some, you're just there in the moment, and it's hard to be like, wait, let's stop and let me post.
I know.
Yeah. Which we should. We should.
While there. Yeah,
we should.
Well, yeah. I might take a page out of Tribe's book, Tribe Grey Wolf. He'll just take a bunch of selfies and then he just leaks them out over time. Like today he posted 4 or 5 selfies with people.
And today, he posted one today from the Ghost of Tabor launch party in Florida.
Yep.
It's wow.
With me too.
Yeah.
So I might take a page out of his book there. But anyway, it was a really good time, and I guess we'll pull up that album here in a minute after we say hello to those who are joining us in chat. This is a live show. It is October 6th, 2023. The year of our Lord, and for some reason
you make it sound like a religious podcast. The year of our Lord.
And for some reason it's still 100 degrees in Phoenix.
What happened there?
I don't know.
For a minute it got really nice. I had the doors open, wind was blowing through. I was like, oh, do I break out a hoodie?
It sucks.
And now it's just kidding.
I know. It sucks.
This usually happens, and then I feel like next week it'll be
and then it'll be too
last. This is the heat going. I'm holding on for dear life.
I mean, I can handle a few more days of it, but otherwise, I am ready for the fall weather. But anyway, we do the show live on YouTube. That's the place where the show lives, really. But I know a lot of you out there are tuning in via Spotify, via Anchor, via iTunes, via wherever you get your podcast platforms. And just want you to know that we're very grateful for you being a part of the Between Realities community, even if you don't happen to be here to catch the live show like those of us who are in the chat today, like Obscure Nerd VR.
Hey, Andy. What's up, buddy?
Dude, he actually hit me up today, and he was like, yo, what time do you end Between Realities? Because I'm about to start my own show, and I want to make sure it's not at the same time.
What a sweetheart. He doesn't want to bump into us. That's very, very nice.
I mean, how can you compete with us?
You can't, but I'll tell you, I am so interested in seeing what he's going to do that we just wouldn't have done the show and just tuned into him instead.
Well, maybe. He's doing cool stuff, and shout out to Obscure Nerd VR.
Heck yeah, buddy.
If you're looking for something else to watch after this show, you know where to go. Q Creator is here. He says it's the weekend from the UK, baby.
Nice.
I like that he's still here, even though it's the UK. It's getting late over there.
Yeah, for sure. I love the UK. I truly do.
I've been to Europe twice. I don't know if that's the UK or not.
No,
it's not.
England, London.
I've never been to the UK.
Is the UK part of Europe? I mean,
yes.
Is it? Oh, I don't know.
Well, the UK, oh my God, we are so American.
I know.
The UK is a collection of 4 countries, I believe, in Europe.
Jeez, I'm terrible.
Jesus Christ. Don't listen to us.
Don't listen to it.
Oh my God, this is a VR podcast.
We're here for VR. That's what we know about. We don't know any of the other things.
Red/Ace. What's up, baby?
What's up, dude? How are you,
Good to see you, Peter.
Yes.
Ryan B saying the weekend starting now. Dude, Ryan right there taking a page out of Mike Newton's book.
Yes.
I love it. Daniel T. Barwayne.
What's up, Daniel?
What's up, man? Good to see you. Classy Grandma flying in, and she even hit us with the super.
Oh, classy.
Heart. Hey, I hit the right button. It says, Alex and my little buddy, I love you both, but I must miss this one, is what I think she means to say. Just keep doing what you do. It will be great. Whoop, whoop. Well, thank you, Classy Grandma.
I love you, Classy.
We hope you catch this on the replay, and just know that we miss you.
Yes, absolutely.
Mo Beast Gaming in the house. What's up,
Mo
man?
Beast, what's up?
Good to see you. Riamu VR. Riamu? Let me know how I should pronounce that. Riamu.
How's it going, Riamu?
Amelia Faust. Hello.
Amelia, how's it going?
Thanks for for hitting me with the DM on Discord today, making sure that I stopped by the Rough Talk Discord and properly self-promoted there. I appreciate
I hope you are now in Resonite, Amelia. I know you've been kind of looking forward to seeing what was coming after Neos.
Resonite launched today, people. If you have PC VR, go on Steam, download Resonite.
Right now.
Literally, you have no reason not to.
Nope.
Ashley C, happy Friday. Hello,
Hey,
Ashley.
What's up, Ashley?
Thanks as always for joining us and celebrating every single Friday. Duggars K in the house, ready for showtime. That's right, baby. Good to see you, dude.
Hey.
Fluke Rogie.
Oh, what's up, Fluke?
He's here.
How's it going, bud?
Andy's VR Reviews.
Hey, Andy.
He's here as well. He's the guy.
The guy.
Chris Hanney, happy Saturday or Friday. It's still Friday, baby. We're living in Friday world.
Chris, I was sad not to see you at Connect. I look forward to the next thing that we're at because you're rad.
There are a couple people who I'm like legitimately pissed that I did not see, and Chris Haney's one of them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
Toge is another one of them.
Oh, I know.
So pissed. Like how?
I don't know.
Oh, because I wasn't at Connect. That's how. Space Denizens here. What's up, dude? Void Citizen in the house. You gonna hit me up for Firewall again, bro?
Void?
Come on, man. I've been looking for squad mates in Firewall. Like, I know everybody hates the game, but just deal with it so you can play with me. Hussein X is here.
Hey, Hussein.
And he's everywhere. Always great to see Hussein X in the house.
The legend.
Filter Ender Comedy Club. What
Hey, Kyle.
Happy belated birthday.
Guessing that's Kyle. What's up, Kyle? How's it going?
Happy belated birthday to Kyle Render from the Filter Ender Comedy Club.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Lamfords is here. Hey. What's up, yo?
What's up?
VR Spry Guy. Don't you worry, baby.
Hey,
I saw
Spry
you
Guy.
there, too.
What's up, buddy?
Mickey Burr in the house.
Mickey, what's up, man?
Mickey Bear. Duggars K giving me cred for the t-shirt.
Heck yeah,
Thanks,
dude.
That's a great shirt.
It is a great shirt.
Demio, come on, baby.
Great studio.
Come on. Reza 2020, morning from Australia.
Whoa, what's up? Other side of the world.
I know. Australia is literally like the most opposite time zone compared to...
It is, but it's also the most similar to what we have here in Arizona as far as the climate, the dirt, all the animals and bugs that want to kill us. So, definitely have a lot in common with Australia here in Arizona. So,
Does Australia have... I feel like that's like a whole nother universe. Like the animals there are like alien everywhere else on the planet.
True.
Amelia Faust, I said hi to you already.
Yes.
Hi, Amelia. Good to see you. Dan Kitty VR is here too.
Hey, what's
to see
up?
you, Dan Kitty, ePilot 007, stopping by and saying hello.
Hello.
And we appreciate that as well. I think it's time to move on and introduce today's guest.
Heck yeah.
So, Mind Jive, hi. Good to see you too.
What's up?
So, 3 years ago, at the beginning of the pandemic, when like you didn't go out in public without a mask on, I had the opportunity to try BlackBox VR. And BlackBox VR, for the uninitiated, is a location-based, resistance-based, dynamic workout machine that is fully integrated into virtual reality. So imagine like a Bowflex that shifts and moves based on like the type of exercise that you're wanting to do. And when you like exhale and like do the strenuous movement of like a bench press, when you hit that apex of your press, like a fireball comes flying out and it hits your enemy. So you're like, like blasting fireballs, and like you see the health bar depleting and like you want to kill him. So like there's this like incentive based on the gamification to do it. Anyway, I got to try this thing.
That's beautiful.
It was extremely awesome. And since then, BlackBox VR has been continuing to make partnerships, continuing to grow, continue to expand, continuing to improve on the product. And we're lucky enough to have the CEO.
Nice.
Of, I think that's right. I hope that's the right
CEO and co-founder.
Okay, good. Yes, the CEO and co-founder of BlackBox VR. This is a guy who literally lives at the intersection of virtual reality and fitness. And I'm really stoked to pick his brain today. Everybody, please welcome to Between Realities, Ryan Deluca. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, what's happening?
Dude.
Hey, man.
Thank you for joining us. It is a pleasure to see you again after 3 long years.
Are you still sore? I know you're sore the next day, but 3 years soreness, that might be a little bit too much.
I am not. I just got over it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I feel like I've been like trending in the right direction, like I got in there, I got to do that. I've done a handful of other like VR fitness kind of things throughout the years. But I feel like I probably had a good like extra 20 or 30 pounds on me when you saw me last. So I feel like I'm like on the path. I'm on my way to starting to look like you a little bit. So
sorry. I totally didn't mean to laugh. Yes, you look just like Ryan.
You.
Yes,
I know.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't have the movie star face that Ryan has.
Yes. But you are chiseled.
I could get there. with the body.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And you just need VR. I'm going to introduce you guys. There's this thing called virtual reality, and you can go in there and you can work out. I swear to God, like, you should go check it out.
Sounds fascinating.
Go to a regular gym. Like, that's the cool part. You don't have to go to a regular gym and do all that boring stuff, because VR is bringing all this great opportunity to make it as fun as all the games that we love to play.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And I'm so excited to dive into it. Another thing that I didn't mention about you is that you are also the host of, or the co-host of, the VR Fitness Insider podcast, which is pretty cool. So this is not your first foray into the podcast space.
That's right. Yeah, it's nothing like this one, but yeah, it's a lot of fun just interviewing people that are into VR and fitness, you know, because it's, as we all know, right, it's like it was this thing that nobody really knew about. Like, you know, when you first talk to people about like, oh, working outside VR, like years ago, it was like, yeah, right, that's never going to happen. And then suddenly it became like this big thing. Like we actually went and talked to like John Carmack one time at one of the Meta Connects, or I guess Oculus Connect, and he was saying like, oh, nobody's going to want to work out in VR because they're going to want to like just stay seated the whole time. And as you know, like, he became a huge proponent of working out in VR, you know, in Beat Saber and other things. And it's just so cool to see like how fast that's all turned around. And so what our goal with the podcast is just bring some attention to that, because we really think it's one of the killer apps for VR, for AR, and there's not enough attention given to it. So thank you guys for having me here.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. I know I need motivation to gamify things in order to get a lot of these things done, because, you know, in my life, working out hasn't always been fun, and which is why I don't do it super often. But something like this, man, if this was in my area, please come open this in my area. I would absolutely subscribe to this, and I would be there all the time.
Well, do you know where I did BlackBox?
Where did you do it?
In Tempe.
What?
Yeah.
Is it in Tempe?
It is in Tempe.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
is it not anymore?
Yeah. We actually did move it, so just because we knew Skiva was going to want to try it. He's too buff, he's going to break it, so we moved it.
Oh, that was 3 years ago.
We actually haven't moved it because we're moving to more of kind of a straight up franchise, like locations. So we do have one in San Francisco, a couple here in the Boise, Idaho area. But the goal is to franchise out, and the first place is going to be right next to Skiva's house. So
yes, let's do it. Because I did go to their website and I looked at the locations, and I was like, how close is one of these things to me? Can I even get there just to try it before the show? And there was nothing around here. But man, Tempe, and I missed it.
I know, bro.
Dang it.
I know.
Dang it.
It's pretty sick. And
funny.
Go ahead, Brian.
I was just going to say, what's funny what you said, Skiva, about how, you know, not really enjoying working out. It's funny. My previous company was called bodybuilding.com. I may look, you know, 21, 22. I get carded all the time. But I started a company back in 1999, you know, called bodybuilding.com, right at the beginning of the internet. Kind of felt like, you know, the beginning of cyberspace felt like the beginning of spatial computing. You know, it's like this brand new thing. Nobody understands it. And, you know, we created a really big company that, you know, we had millions of visitors and customers. And what's funny is when you talk to people in fitness, you know, you would think, oh, all those bodybuilders, fitness models, they love working out, and why can't I be like them and enjoy it? But I swear to you, 90% of them hate working out. Like, even people that are really into fitness, they realize how boring it is. The same thing over and over. You know, obviously it's painful. There's nothing that exciting about it. They just have to do it. And so almost everybody says the same thing that you say, is like, why is exercise so boring, and how can we actually make it better?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you are kind of working on that front and trying to make it so we can enjoy our workouts.
Arcanian in the chat. Good to see you, dude. Also, Kenzie Gaming, our homie here in Arizona. Thanks for dropping in. Bodybuilding.com. Like, when I found out that you like owned and operated bodybuilding.com, it definitely like got me thinking you must have been there right at the beginning when like it was almost the like what was that thing where like in America where like you like raced to the plots of land and like stuck your flag, you know, to like claim it. Like it was like that with domain names for like those first handful of years, right? So did you just like have this idea like, oh, let me check and see if bodybuilding.com is available, and it was, and then like boom, it like happened? Like, tell me that story.
Kind of. So, you know, I was in high school. I graduated high school in 1996 in the 1900s. And I was really into fitness and bodybuilding, really wanted to do that for my career. And that was right when that cyberspace thing started to take off, right? And so I started a couple of little companies just selling individual products like creatine and protein and things like that. But the name bodybuilding.com was actually owned by somebody, but they weren't using it. So I did have to buy it from them. But, you know, I bought it for like $20,000 and just basically just like dedicated my entire life to just 100% just working on with our amazing team here. We grew it to like 800 employees, $500 million in annual revenue. It was the most visited fitness website in the world at the time. And so I sold in 2015 because there was this thing called VR that we had to go investigate.
Wow. Okay.
Nice. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to pump the brakes here for a second. So you bought a domain name or a website for 20 grand?
Domain name.
That is insane.
Yeah, when I was like,
they go for a lot more than that nowadays.
Do they really?
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
That is a huge
My dad actually made fun of me too. I mean, he was like, "It's insane. Like, why would you spend money on this thing?" Right? This is 1998, and of course, you know, a few years later, I hired him to work at my company. so he.
That's why, Dad.
Good idea. That's right.
Gamertag VR sliding into the chat. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, GT?
Thanks for stopping by. It's good to see you. Well, that's amazing. And I know Skiva, in the realm of this conversation, Skiva has a question for you that I also definitely want to know the answer to about his Twitter handle.
Oh, dude. Dude.
It's like the exact same thing. You like ran to Twitter and
so down below here on the monitor is BlackBox VR's Twitter handle, but Ryan's Twitter handle, or now X handle, is @VR. That's it. Just VR. That's right. That is insane. Yeah, I want that.
Available. I just didn't. So I need to use Twitter more often, but like I do believe in making things simple. You know, so like obviously bodybuilding.com, it was like the easiest thing to remember. Even though everybody would always say like, "Oh, you're that bodybuilder.com guy." It's like, so I did buy bodybuilders.com also a little bit later because I was sick of that. But you know, keeping things simple, and so finding that that Twitter handle was available was a big deal. And so just @VR can't be easier than that.
That's nuts. Wow.
And meanwhile, I've sent like multiple emails to Twitter being like, please give me @AlexVR. Like, please just give it to me. And there's like some like dead inactive account that has it, that hasn't signed in like a decade. And like, I'm like, hey, this person is using my name. Like, I'm building a brand here, blah, blah, blah. They're like, nope.
Yeah, that's too bad.
To tell you, I also have @Alex.
That would be so hilarious. And at this point, it wouldn't even surprise me.
It's Ryan. That's funny.
Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, so then you're bodybuilding.com. You're on the internet. Things are awesome, and then you catch wind of this VR thing, and you're like, oh, it's time to sell my website and pivot. What was this? What did you catch wind of? What happened to you that changed your brain?
Well, the interesting thing is always I've been looking at like what's the new technology, what's the new thing, right? So I mean, at people like us, right? Like we're always on that cutting edge. That like you're always surprised how many people aren't on that cutting edge. And so when the internet first came out, I kind of joke around to be the whole like cyberspace thing. It was like, it was immediate to me, like obvious to me that like this is going to be a big deal. Like there's cool stuff you can do with this that you couldn't do with like a magazine or a book. You can talk to people. Like it just blew my mind. Like I made a little website at home, like just HTML, and went to my school library and I could see it there. Like, and I know that sounds crazy, but like it was like I didn't have to bring a disc. It was just there,
Yeah.
And like how cool it was to talk to people. And that was really, I always have been thinking that way, right? It's like, okay, what's the next thing? So of course, then it became more complicated websites, right? Where you can have videos and things like that on it. And then when Ajax came out, you could do stuff like that. And then there was social networking, like, oh, how can we more connect people? We had forums and stuff, but how can we do that? Mobile, it's always been like the next thing. And I've always looked at it like, how can this help reach the goal that I have with our companies, which is helping people reach their health, fitness, and appearance goals. And it wasn't just, oh, new technology, it's just used because it's cool. It was always, oh, this new thing potentially could solve that problem and help solve that problem. And so when it came down to VR, to me, it was very obvious, like, oh, like VR is like, it's the final medium, other than, brain implants, right? It's like you're inside the video game. And really what it came out down to was that video games are super addictive and we want to play them, we itch to play them. We all have a game we're playing and we want to get back to, and time goes by fast, right? It's like, the joke is like, oh, it's midnight, I got to work tomorrow. I'm just going to play for a half hour longer. And then it's 4 a.m. like before you know it, right? Well, exercise is the exact opposite. Like you think a half hour's gone by and it's only been like 10 minutes. And so the whole idea was like, wow, if you could actually use VR, go inside a video game and make it so you actually forget you're working out and get immersed in that experience and be motivated, like you said, Alex, about how, that the health bar is almost down. I got to get those last few chest presses in. It's like, that's not how you feel at the gym. You know, you're like counting reps, and maybe some days you can have a great day at the gym, like, you know, hit a new record. But 90% of the time, you're just going to go through the motions, which isn't going to do much for you. Where in a game, like, you can push yourself, that competitive aspect. And so that's kind of the long answer of, it became obvious to me that immersive technology was like, this is going to be like the next big thing, and that could actually help solve the major issue that we have in society is nobody likes to exercise, and that creates all sorts of negative outcomes for people, not just how they look, but how they feel, and you know, mental and obviously long-term health. Right. And so it was like, okay, we got to go look at this, because this could be the thing we need. It's not just another Peloton with the screen on it. You know, it's not just another dumbbell. Like, you go to fitness conventions, it's like they have different colored dumbbells, and that's like the big innovation. This is like, how can we put those things together? And so that's a long answer to, I just couldn't help it. Right. I had to go and investigate this with our team.
Yeah, and I mean, that makes perfect sense, but I am still curious, like, what was the catalyst? Like, did somebody hand you a headset and like say, hey, play this Beat Saber game for the first time? Like, when did it click for you? You're like, oh shit, VR is the thing.
It really was. I was at bodybuilding.com, and we were always investigating what, you know, the new technologies. And so we got an Oculus TK2 and said, okay, let's just look at this. I remember the Tuscany scene, and it was immediately like, all right, we got to investigate this. That was around 2015. I ended up selling bodybuilding.com right about that time, partly because of wanting to go back into startup world, but partly just, you know, we had sold a little chunk of it to private equity, sold a little chunk of the business over time, and then eventually was like, all right, you know, I'm getting a little bit bored of this. I'm not giving my best to it because, you know, I'm a little bit over like e-commerce and some of these things. And our parent company at the time that owned a majority of the stake of the company wanted to go a little bit different direction, because sometimes when you sell a company, they're excited about the long term for a while, but then they change their mind because now they've got to like monetize it, you know, whether they're going to sell it to the next person. And so it just didn't really fit with what I wanted to do. So took a little bit of a break. Thought I could last like a year, but only lasted 6 months. Got bored out of my mind, played a lot of VR and new stuff, and then said, let's go tackle this, and really not having any idea about what it was going to be. It was just like, I know there's something powerful here, like psychologically, and I know that the problem has not been solved yet with fitness, and so like, let's just go tackle this thing. So sold the company, had fun for 6 months, got really, really bored and depressed, and then started BlackBox.
Nice. I love it. And, you know, there are a lot of approaches to fitness in VR right now, you know, but a lot, let me rephrase that. There are a lot of options for fitness in VR right now. There's multiple different kinds of games with different approaches to them. You know, you have stuff like VR Workout, which is like using hand tracking and having you like drop and do push-ups and stuff. You have stuff like Supernatural, which still has you standing and holding the controllers and kind of like doing a Beat Saber kind of thing while you're squatting and stuff.
Mighty Gym, inside of VR chat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another
with
really
personal
good one.
trainers. Yeah.
Of course, shout out to Kugo for that. But this is different. Like, BlackBox is a lot different than these other, what I would just call VR games with a fitness focus. That's not exactly what's happening here, is it, Ryan?
That's right. It's like, I'm very excited that there's so many different fitness games now, because as we said, like, there just wasn't any in the beginning. And the more people get comfortable with that, even if it's just starting in Beat Saber and going, whoa, I actually got, like, I'm sweating. Like, I didn't realize that. You know, like, you didn't start it for that. And then, of course, a bunch of the great experiences that are out there for that. What we really wanted to do was like take it to the next level. Like, we want a resistance training. We're big believers, you know, strength training, not just for gaining muscle and strength, but like it helps your body in 1,000 different ways, no matter what your goal is or age. Strength training is very important. So we wanted to have something different there, because part of it was too, like, we knew eventually there would be a bunch of just cardio kind of games like there are now. And once there's a whole bunch of something, you know, it's hard to like have a long-term business when it's like there's a million different ones of these same kind of things that are easy to knock off. And so we wanted to do something a little bit more unique that way. Plus, we wanted to make like a full esport model, right? Because what the other problem I have with fitness games a lot of times is that in the past, especially, like, they become very one-dimensional, right? It's just like, oh, just like beat your previous time, or like, you know, hit some points or something like that. And it's like, that's not really true gamification, right? It's not the true video game. Like, even gamification is kind of a bad word, you know, because it's like they just kind of cheapen it. So the idea is like, how can you make it like a true esport game with progression, with competition, you know, with teams, with like unlocking a bunch of different type of things, with really caring about that. Because what's interesting about fitness is you can't like beat the final boss. Like, wouldn't it be nice, like, if there was a game like, hey, I'm going to go get fit, and you do it for like, say, really hardcore for a year. I'm fit now.
That's
I'm done. You know? It's like, I'm good. You know, it's kind of crazy when you think about the second you hit wherever you hit. the second you stop, you start to decay, right, and go back. So you have to keep doing it. So you can't beat a final boss. We can't have constant like DLC, just like, oh crap, we ran out of stuff. The esport model is so good, like, Clash Royale, or of course, like, Fortnite or League of Legends, like, or just sport model, like basketball. Like, you could play basketball every day in your life and it would be different every day.
Yep.
Different people, different circumstances, different things going on. And that's what's great about that model. So we really wanted to go into that and start with this arena, like, so explaining it a little bit. You're basically in this like big arena. You start in kind of the lower level arena, and you're on this platform that's in the arena, and you can see the exercise machine in there, like where the exercise machine is, like you mentioned, it's an electronic resistance machine, so it's kind of like tonal, where it's like electronic resistance. Everything, the handles move up and down by themselves, 2 different handles, so you can do everything from deadlifts and squats and chest press and lat pull downs, bicep curls, all these different things. We can go up to like 240 pounds of resistance, so it's like CrossFit heavy. Like, sometimes people are like, oh, that's must be great for kids. I'm like, no, we're going to kill your kid. But it can go down really low, like if we needed it to, But so that's what's great, is it starts you kind of there. Now you're doing chest press, like you mentioned. That's a fire beam, which is a fire attack. And the whole goal is, you have a crystal in front of you. On the other side of the field, there's a crystal, which is either an NPC or a competitor. And there's 2 lanes. And you can do different attacks to do like lightning attacks or ice attacks using the exercises. However strong you are in real life is how strong your attacks are. So it's like a sport in that way. Like, if my bench press is 200 pounds, I'm doing this much damage per rep. If yours is 300 pounds, you're doing more, 50% more. And what's cool is then there's also champions. So, in between sets, you can't just be doing resistance the whole time with any program. You did your set, you pushed everything you got. Now you've earned some elixir that you can now do some punching and slicing kind of cardio type stuff to like put champions out in the field, which are like, tank, archers, different melee, different kind of characters that you can put in combinations and strategies that all have their own kind of unique part to it. And they go out there autonomously and fight for you. And then you go back and do another set to like kind of protect them and do damage. So, and then you're basically always like unlocking new things and new cosmetics and new power-ups and going up the arenas and moving up ranks. So it's like all that stuff together keeps you interested in the moment, which is like that set, during the week, because you got these certain weekly quests you got to do, and during the season and during the, hopefully what we're hoping is like for the rest of your life, which is the only way you can actually get fit. I always like to do that all the time.
So this is very much a legit video game. The things that you're saying here are things that we experience in all kinds of games, but using VR and using all of this equipment. So were you a gamer before this? It sounds like you had to be, and then you didn't just grab a VR headset and go, okay, we're doing fitness now. Like, you had to go in and figure out, how is this going to work? How am I going to make this work? Were you a coder? Were you like, okay, let's fire up Unity and see what we can make here? What was kind of that process that you went through?
So I am a gamer. I'm officially, I think, the 1988 Nintendo champion of Idaho. They did Nintendo championships once when I was like in fifth grade. I won. I almost got beat up by the 6th graders because of it. They never did the championship here again, so I'd say I'm still the reigning champion.
No way!
Double Dragon and Super Mario Brothers.
I am so jealous.
Wow, that's legit. Yeah. Nice.
I always thought that was going to help me get girls, but it just
didn't work out. No.
Yeah, you were like 20 years too soon for that.
They were just too intimidated by you.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so definitely a gamer, definitely a technologist. So I did almost all the software development for Bottom.com in the beginning. Of course, as CEO, that's not the smartest thing for me to do. I can hire people that are much better than me at those things and work with them and get their best ideas. And so kind of that middle, right? So it's like, I understand technology, I've built technology, it is an interesting thing too, because there's the cliche is kind of true that like when I go talk to fitness people, they don't understand technology, like almost at all, right? And they're scared of it. They don't like it. Their eyes gloss over if we talk about VR. You talk to like people really into technology, and a lot of times they don't really understand fitness, or they don't feel like it's like really for them. There's not a lot of people that kind of have both, and I've always thought that's my kind of special area together with our amazing team, is we can actually look at it holistically from both sides and build something like that. So I'd say I'm definitely, of course, at the same time I know what I don't know, so I read a lot of books.
Beautiful. Well, it always helps to have an actual gamer at the helm when making a game.
Absolutely.
Call me crazy, but that really helps. And as you were explaining the game, and I've also played it. I mean, I haven't played it in 3 years, but I've played the game, and I would not hesitate to compare it to a MOBA, Do you think that that's a safe comparison?
Exactly.
So if you're out there and you like MOBAs, then you would probably love this. Like, you have creep pushing in a lane that are autonomously fighting each other, and then your hero and what you're doing is impacting what's happening out there. So if you can get an edge, now your creep are advancing further, and you're eventually going to get a W if you can keep it up.
Exactly.
So one thing that you said while you were explaining it that kind of excited me was you said that on the other end, it could either be an NPC or a competitor. And 3 years ago when I tried this, it was a single player experience, period. Is there now a multiplayer aspect of this?
Not quite yet.
Not quite yet, but it's coming.
That is the part that is very close to coming, and so that's why we talk about it that way, because it's like the goal is obviously there's the NPC part of it, which is good because you can have a whole bunch of those, and some people don't like the competitive aspect of like losing to somebody in real life.
Yeah.
But then we want to add a lot more co-op type of stuff where it's like both of us could be here going against like the NPC. But then also there's definitely a need for, and we'll have soon will be that multiplayer aspect where you'll be able to compete against other people. We can do tournaments. It's kind of CrossFit games, but like in a MOBA, right? It's kind of the idea.
I mean, I can see something like that really getting some traction. Like, just like these huge dudes rolling in and they're like VR gamers about to compete, you know? Like, that sounds so rad.
What, like, the challenges here are absolutely nutty. Like, it's one thing to make a game and then make that game multiplayer, but you have to incorporate actual machinery and virtual reality and tracking and all of this stuff into this. When you do a rep or when you do anything in this, it's tracked inside of the game. That all has to sync up. And then now you're talking about making multiple machines talking to each other from within this game too. I just can't even imagine, because now we're not just talking about programming. Now we're talking about actual engineering and making these things as well.
Dude, and this machine is ridiculous. Like, it is super dynamic, and like it moves around based on the type of exercise that you're doing. Maybe you can explain a little bit about that, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, it's very complicated. Like, it's almost like to be an entrepreneur or to create something, to be a creator, you have to be a little bit overly optimistic and naive. It's like, oh, that can't be that hard, even though you've learned your lesson a million times. Like it is, you know? But it's like, you're right. Like, we've kind of done everything on hard mode. It's like we're a startup. We're doing something in new technology with VR, which is already difficult. You know, obviously the VR aspect of it. We create our own exercise machine from scratch, which is like you said, this complicated robotic machine that like does all these different things. Obviously developing the game from scratch, the retail concept, all these things, mobile app, you know, all that. But the machine, you know, the reason we did that, we didn't really start out thinking we'd create an exercise machine, but it was really a means to an end because there wasn't anything out there that would work. You know, if you're using dumbbells or something, like how do you change the weight? Are you going to drop them on you? If you're using other cable machines, like you either have to like take the headset off and change the settings and things. And there wasn't electronic resistance back then, so it was like, all right, we just got to like go at it and figure this out, because to really be immersed in the game, the idea is that like we want you to like forget you're working out, and if you're taking the headset off and changing things or doing other stuff, you're gonna be back in the real world, right? That's the worst part of playing a VR game, right? Is taking the headset off, you know, because you're like, oh, I'm not actually on this planet fighting these people. Mm-hmm. So we had to make it so it'll be height, it'll adjust to your height. So Skiva, I think you might be too tall, but other people it'll go for it. You know, it'll adjust.
Story of my life, dude.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But it'll adjust based on your height, based on the exercise, and you just basically say, okay, I want to do a fire attack, and you just grab this little orb off the table. It's a fire attack orb, put it in this little hopper thing, and then the exercise, the handles will move up to the right position for you based on your height for chest press. There's a bench pad thing that comes out, so you can actually like go against it, you know, with your back if you're doing like chest press or standing row. So we had to we really cared a lot about making this like fully what it needs to be, because I've seen too many times where people have created, whether it's like supplement products, you know, nutrition programs, games, where they promise all these things, but it doesn't deliver. It's just this kind of cheap kind of thing. And for me and our team, like, this has to work. This has to help you get in shape. This has to get you so you love it. And we have UCLA studies now that kind of prove it, but like, it wasn't just a gimmick, make money thing, because you know, like, I didn't have to like go start this. I could just be hanging out with you guys over in Arizona all day and, you know, playing games. But it was like, let's create something that's going to make a difference. And so that's really what made it complicated, is we really wanted to make it the best for our members.
Hell yeah. And you really did a great job, man. Like, I have to say, like, you know, because the thing about VR, well, one of the things about VR that I think like maybe wouldn't be conducive for a workout experience like this one is the fact that you are cut off from your surroundings. Like, you're wearing a headset. You can't see this machine like changing robotically around you while you're like grabbing new fire attacks and putting them in the canister or whatever. But it's done so elegantly and like in such a smooth way. And they do some like kind of cool tricks. Maybe things are different now, but like I remember like if you have to like turn around to take advantage of like a different position or a posture, like, or to be able to put your chest into the thing that comes out, then like the game's like turn around and you do, and then like switches the world around on you. So that way like you're oriented still, but it like has you rotating in the space so the machine can accommodate the new exercises. And like the whole time I'm in there, I'm not like banging into like robotic arms and stuff, you know, and I don't feel like I'm like in an enclosed thing or anything like that. It was like really smooth and elegant, and wild. I'm sure that took some R&D to make happen.
So many different pieces that could have just been, you know, the thing that was like, oh no, throw all this away. This one thing is going to prevent us from going forward. But I mean, it looks like here you just nailed it all, and that it's just so many challenges that I can't even fathom the mindset of, okay, we're going to tackle this. And we're going to get all of these things done, and we're going to do a really good job, because sometimes products and projects don't end up the way you envision them when you have them in your mind, and then, you know, you could be out a substantial amount of money. So, man, props
I think
to you guys.
I would say like you have to be obsessed, you know, like if you guys are obsessed with what you're doing, like if you didn't really care, like you would do it for a while, but you hit a little stumbling block and then you just give up, right? Like there's many things in life I've done like that, like, oh, I want to learn this new language, and I do it for a little while and then I don't really care that much, so kind of give up. But if you're obsessed with it, you're going to think about it day and night, and that's really what it comes down to. And a big part of it too was, you know, we want to get like real people into it as soon as possible, you know, so like getting feedback as soon as possible, like, you know, because lots of times people want to hold things to the side for a long time and don't show anybody, but really right from the beginning, we're like, we know this thing sucks right now, but like, let's just get as many people in there, let's get the feedback, you see the surprising things that people try to do. So it really did come down to like, one, we're just obsessed, and two, that we kind of have the confidence, like we created some core values in the beginning of our company, like just kind of like getting set up, what's our mission and stuff. And one of them was like, it's kind of negative. It's like, we're going to work hard together and embrace failure and the difficulties, you know, and it wasn't like we're going to have success. It was like, we are going to struggle. It's going to be hard. But the thing is, we're going to have confidence that we're going to be able to solve it. So no matter what comes at us, we'll be able to figure it out. And like, you build up almost like that belief in yourself and in your company and your team over time, because, oh, this problem we were able to get over, this problem get over, new one just came in today, and there's literally one every single day. You know, it's like, we will figure it out, right? Because we care, the mission's important, and we're gonna grind through it.
Sweet. Well, so like what's
a video game?
Hell yeah. So what are like, you know, like what's the latest, you know, because it's been 3 years since I saw you. It's been 3 years since I've been able to play the game or to use the machine. I'm pretty sure I saw like a tweet or social media post recently where you like were sharing like you have a like the newest iteration of the machine and it's like the best one ever. So like give us an update compared to where it's been.
Sure. Yeah. So every part of the company's improved dramatically since 3 years ago when you tried it, and it really was like the core of, like, you know, we had the exercise machine, the 1.0, and then we had the 2.0. We made more changes, so we now got the fully, you know, enterprise version of the exercise machine with everything we ever dreamed of. You know, we've improved the game dramatically. There's like so many different aspects to it. Like, I'm trying to remember like what 3 years ago, but it's like just every part of the game has been improved dramatically. The mobile app, we have more teams and social and all that stuff. A big part of it is, with something like this, is like you said, it's location based today. You know, someday we do hope to have an exercise machine for home, but the idea was first, like, let's go figure this out before we start shipping to people's houses. You know, and then it's going to be like, how do we make it cheaper and how can we do that? But we're going to that franchise concept. So companies like F45 or Orange Theory, some of these fitness boutiques, like, they can grow so fast through franchising, because franchising sounds like this old thing, especially like together with VR, you know, but really when you look into it, it is one of the fastest ways to grow something like this. And some of these companies are opening up hundreds of locations per year. Like, I think like F45 is opening like one every 14 hours on average, you know, around the world, you know, because you can really scale quickly. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So the fun part is, like, now we're finally at that point where, like, we pull it into a full, like, turnkey system and make it so that then you can copy and paste these to locations right next to you guys, 2 places around the world. And that's really been the big focus, because if we only are in a couple places, doesn't matter how great it is, like we need to bring this to the world. And that's the cusp of what we're on right now.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys like, because when I was in there, I think I used either a Vive or a Vive Pro attached to the machine. Have you guys been like keeping a finger on the pulse, like with the different headsets that are coming up? Like, are you still using the Vive? Are you looking at other ones? Like, what are you guys doing as far as like the VR tech?
That's a great question. So we're using Vive Pro 2 right now, and it's tethered. And really the reason is because, as you remember, like we can't have you hold controllers because you have to hold the handles of the machine, right? Like a normal cable machine. So we actually put these the Tundra trackers on your arm here and here, so that way we can still know where your arms are, so we can track your form, so you can have interaction with the environment. And that requires us to use the Lighthouse system, Steam VR and the base stations, and that there's really no way to use a tracker like that without using a wired headset right now, like the Vive Pro 2, which has been, if you would have told me this 3 years ago, I'd be saying that 3 years from then, like, it's like, I can't believe it's still now. But we're very close to where, and we've looked at all sorts of different things to do with that, even just like whether it's like a, leap motion type of things. But really it's and they don't have the latency is not fast enough. If you're punching something, if your hand's even behind a little bit, like it doesn't work.
Right.
Or occlusion is a big part. If you're doing a certain exercise or something and we can't tell what you're doing, and then we can't track your form. So what we're really excited about is the HTC self-tracking trackers, which we heard about. We're hoping they're going to come out soon. And there's some rumors that hopefully they get announced, like actually announced soon, because that'll allow us to then be able to use different headsets, like whether we continue with HTC or can we use a MetaQuest 3 and then finally be wireless with a Wi-Fi 6E connection to the PC, because we're still going to need the connection to the PC. But PC VR with the Quest 3, haven't tried it yet. I ordered it. We got a couple days left until it gets here. Yep. But I think that could be where we could finally have a wireless experience. Right now we tether it like with a dog leash kind of thing, like a lot of people do, and you don't notice it that much, but it's definitely a hindrance.
Yeah, you guys would really like to get rid of the cord if you could.
Oh yeah. It's, if you guys have any ideas, by the way, or anybody out there, because we've looked and tried so many different things of like, how do we make it so you can track your arms with some kind of way and also use a wireless headset, but we think this will be the solution.
There's definitely options like slime trackers and things like that, but I do think your head's in the right place with these new Vive self-tracking trackers that have cameras on them and because HTC knows how to make trackers. They've been doing it forever. They are robust. They are for the location-based entertainment sector. They know people are going to be dropping these. The public's going to be smacking them into things. So that's probably the way I would go. And we did get to test those as well, and they work really well. So hopefully they are out soon, because I'd love to grab some of them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm refreshing Twitter every day.
So one thing that I think is interesting, and I mean, get ready because I'm sure you've answered this question 5 billion times, but this is the location-based VR experience, in which case basically every single person who gets into this thing is going to be sweating their ass off. In terms of like, shared wearables and stuff like that, what kind of precautions are you guys taking for things like sanitation? And also, are these headsets like surviving this? Like, are they are you replacing the headset like once every 6 months because it's getting sweat in every single day? Like, can you speak to this for us?
Sure. Yeah, that was definitely a big thing that we had to solve. So first of all, we do use the VR covers, so that way that it's sweat proof in that way. We change them out quite often. We also use clean boxes. You guys may have seen the clean boxes, right, with the UV medical grade light, which makes it basically, we believe it's like the most sanitary gym experience, because they're not doing medical hospital grade like sanitation of their equipment. So with a fan on them between, like with being able to replace those covers, and with that, like we haven't had any issues. Even people that thought they were going to have an issue with it, like it seems strange, is there going to be something unhygienic about it, but the solution that we've implemented has made it so it's very very hygienic, and people don't ever talk about it, which has been awesome.
Well, nice. Good for you.
yeah exactly. And we have to replace the headsets relatively often because they do get used a lot. We're doing multiple workouts, obviously, like 10-20 workouts per day, like per booth. And mostly it's because people drop them. They take the headset off and they just kind of bang them around a little bit. But they last pretty long. But we haven't really had issues with like sweat kind of breaking them, which has been a good thing.
That's cool. I mean, I've sweat in my headsets, like my own headsets, 1,000,000 times, and they survive, like my Quest 2 has gone through it,
Yeah, they're definitely specifically have engineered towards that, because there was a time with the original Vive, games had come out that, workout games started to get really popular, and games that really made you move, and they were getting destroyed, they were breaking. But that was so long ago now. All of these headsets now, they know all of these, there's so many experiences now that are going to make you move and sweat. So they're trying to protect the circuitry inside and the screens and stuff. So no, we're in a good place for this kind of stuff now.
Yeah, it's super exciting. And I mean, obviously I do think that there's a market for the home version of this kind of thing. People are buying Bowflexes, they like buy treadmills,
sure.
They buy these super expensive things. And I know this thing ain't going to be cheap when it comes out, but I do think that there will be some people who absolutely want to acquire something like this. Maybe the location-based experience is something that, I mean, a lot of people go to the gym, like they go physically to the gym. It's like, I guess it's a whole culture, but I'm not that guy. Like, I'm not going to the gym. I'm doing all of my stuff in the privacy of my own home or by myself, like at a park or something, but it's rare that I'm going to like a building to participate in these things. So I would probably be that guy who would prefer to have this at my house than go.
Oh, I would love to have something like this on my pad too, and really like push me every day to use something like this. That'd be good.
How often do you get into it, Ryan?
We recommend 3 times per week. That's what we did like the UCLA studies on, and that was basically what the amount of volume per exercise. We kind of look at it like how much volume per body part are you going to be able to get within a 1 week period, because that's really the determinant of like what kind of results you're going to get. So 3 to 4 times per week really does it. At 30 minutes at a time, they're like super intense. Like the studies we did in UCLA was we had half the people go in BlackBox 3 times a week, 30 minutes at a time, so 90 minutes total. And we had a different group go to a normal gym 5 times a week for it's like an hour each time, right? So they're doing 5 hours versus an hour and a half. And we actually had better results with the people that were in BlackBox, because with everything, whether it come from muscle gain, fat loss, resting heart rate improvement, flexibility, everything, because they actually pushed themselves during those 90 minutes, those full 90 minutes. And so you can get a really intense workout if you're really focused. And the exciting thing about actually going to the gym, because there are a lot of people that prefer to work out at home. What's nice is like we've had this great community of people, and what's nice is it's not like a typical gym community, right? It's people that are into VR, they're into games, they're into technology, and so there's something really fun about having this third place, which unfortunately a lot of times people in technology don't have that third place, right? So a lot of times we either have our home, our work. What's your third place? And a lot of people, it's fitness, it's SoulCycle, it's CrossFit, or some sport that you're playing, and this, we don't really have something like that because we're mostly at home using technology. People really have found that like they like being together with people that they can also relate to and talk about the latest, fun movies and things coming out. And that part keeps you even more focused on the exercise because you want to do great. Like you have little teams in our app where it's like we're all trying to like complete these quests within this amount of time, which means we got to hit our 3 times per week because that's going to help us with the next arena raid that's coming up at the end of the month, and we're going to get the best rewards for that. So we're all trying to push like that. It's really like the home part. I agree. I can't wait to have a home version of it, but I think you'd be surprised how fun it is to meet with people like you in a sport type of environment.
That's so great.
Yeah, that's a great point. One of the main reasons I do not like going to the gym is I find that typically I don't have anything in common with the rest of the people I'm shoved in a room with, right? And I just, it's hard to be in a place that you're going to go to all the time on your own free will when you just don't have anything in common with the people that are going to be there. So going to a place where everyone's kind of into the same thing, it's kind of your people, right? That's a huge incentive for me to want to go out and do something like this away from home and go to the gym and work out and get into VR and play a game while I do it. And then the people there are also awesome. So again, please bring this back to Arizona.
So Ryan, how often are you in BlackBox VR?
I try to use it like a real user, and I've always tried to do this with Bodybuilding.com and always and others. So I'm doing the 3 to 4 times per week. We have some of our members will go like twice a day, 7 days a week. We have to tell them not to. Like it's actually hilarious because almost always a story is like, everybody wants to exercise and be in shape. Like there's I think it's 99% of people say they want that. I got to talk to those 1% and wonder what's going on there, right? But 99% of people, they want to exercise, they want to be in shape, they want to feel good, they want to be strong. And but the amount of people that do it is so small. In fact, 87% of people aren't able to do it consistently over time. So it's almost like you almost can't find anything that's a bigger gap than that. There might be a lot of people I want to read more books, maybe 70% of people. But it's what percent what other thing is there where almost everybody wants to do it and almost nobody does it?
Right.
And so what I was going with is that it's crazy when you talk to some of our members, they tried so many times, they started and then they stopped. They did a home thing for a while, then they stopped. Then they joined a gym, got a trainer, then they stopped. And they never could stick to it. And then now they've been going to BlackBox for a couple of years, and we literally have to tell them, stop working out so much, right? They've never had that problem before, right? So most people, we recommend that 3 to 4 times per week, because rest days are important. You don't want to overtrain. You don't want to get too much. You don't want to get burnt out. You don't want to get injuries. So 3 to 4 times per week, every other day kind of thing is perfect. And we recommend not more than that. And that's what's going to give you the best results too.
Dude, are you just chilling at the top of the leaderboard? You're yeah, this is my game. I'm in here 4 times a week. Everybody get in line. Or do you have people out there who are really making you sweat?
We have a lot of people that do much better than me. It's
Nice.
amazing, actually. And I love it, because it's it motivates me too. It's they're just because every time you do a workout, like you said, what the great thing about VR is we can track every single thing you did inside that 3D environment in 6 DOF, right, including with the machine, every little piece of it. So we can give you some really amazing stats. We always look at each other's stats, and it's some of these people, it's how did they do that much exercise volume in 30 minutes? It's mind-blowing, some of these people, and it makes me just so happy to see, because they're so happy about it also.
Hell yeah. I can imagine as a creator, that must be a moment for anybody who makes a game where all of a sudden you realize that you aren't the best anymore. Your community has taken it from you, and they're oh no, we're going to show you now how to play this game. There must have been a moment where you were you know what? We might not be onto something here, because now these guys are better than me. I feel that's a thing, a tier.
Yeah, it is actually so fun, because usually they'll find some way, because what I'm always thinking about is obviously how do we, with our team, how do we make the game fun? How do we make it strategic? How do we make it so the idea of you're using your working memory, you're not just focused on just the reps, right? As soon as people are counting reps, I know we've screwed up, right? They shouldn't be counting reps and sets. They should be focus on the strategy and the resource management and things.
Right.
But the other side is we got to make sure they're getting the right amount of exercise. So if they suddenly find a strategy that means they don't need to do as many sets or reps and they could just do champions, then now we got to go and say, okay, nice try. Now we got to nerf some stuff. But then they find a different way to do it, which is awesome.
That's interesting. So what can this system not do? Right? It does a lot, but I imagine it can't just be is this just a one-stop shop for fitness? Can you get everything you need out of BlackBox VR, or are there things that you would recommend maybe you go elsewhere to achieve?
I'd say for the vast majority of people, all you need is resistance exercise and cardio, the basics, the compound stuff, right? Squats, chest press, standing row, just do those things. Do them at where you're going maxing out at where you can do 12 to 15 reps at a time before you can't do anymore. Unless you're trying to be a power lifter, there'd be something different. They kind of call it sports specific. If there's certain things that you need, I'm going to be a professional baseball player, there's specific things you probably need to do that are not just the basics. But for the vast majority of people, if everybody we knew just worked out 3 times a week and did squats, deadlifts, bench press, some cardio, they would be getting the results that they want, right? You might have some specific thing about you, you might have some certain concerns or certain things that you might want to do that are separate from that. But for the vast majority of people, just do this, don't complicate it. Everyone wants to complicate it. What's that magic exercise or magic system or magic diet? And everybody will sell you that, by the way, because I know a lot of people that will sell you that ebook or that program for $99. And the thing is, and they can't sell you the basics because no one's going to buy that. So they're trying to sell you this, and everyone's looking for this. But it doesn't matter. Do it consistently over time. That's the only secret to fitness success that there is.
Heck yeah. Well, that gets me more, I'm always just thinking about really trying to nail this type of thing in my own life. It's very intimidating. All the things that you have been told by all of these people that you should be doing, and it's a breath of fresh air to hear that like you can achieve really good results by doing these basic things and doing them consistently. So that's great.
That's a basic thing, but it's hard. Not so basic when we're adding headsets and heroes and all this cool stuff. It's like a basic movement that has been like incorporated into a high tech, super entertaining experience, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the point. Is that everybody knows like fitness is very, very simple, but it's not easy because of the consistency, because of just being able to just do it over and that discipline that it takes. Because fitness is so boring. It's absolutely, like we always joke, like if aliens were watching us picking something up and putting it down and doing it over and over, they would think like it doesn't make any sense, right? And that's what we're expected to do, like literally be on a treadmill, literally just do these boring things over and over and over for the rest of our life. Like you're asking people a lot. It's painful, sacrificing your time doing other things. You're not going to see quick rewards. Like video games are fun. Boom, boom, rewards. I'm getting all these different things all the time, right? Like imagine you play a video game where you don't get a reward for maybe ever, but like months, and then you finally get a little something, it's like nobody would play that game.
Literally.
Fitness has been set up to be the worst. And then we're made to feel bad about it. I don't like exercise. I guess I'm a bad person. I don't have enough discipline. But no, fitness is not fun, and your brain is telling you don't do it, because it's smart. Don't waste calories and expend energy for nothing. So the secret is, how do we use game principle to hack that part of the brain to make you think that it matters to pick that thing up over and over.
Right. I was watching a show on Netflix recently. I think it was Netflix. I don't know, one of these streaming services. And it was the show was about like people who live to 100. Like somebody was like running around the world, like finding communities of people who had a high amount of 100-year-old plus people, and then like trying to figure out what was happening there that was keeping these people alive for so long. And one of the biggest things that I took away from that was that a lot of these people have exercise built into their lives as like that's like just what their life is. Like they're not picking up a heavy thing and setting it down over and over and over again. They're like walking up the hill to work with like the bag of grain over their shoulder, or they're, taking the buckets of water back and forth from the well, like they're doing the things that in life, like would have kept us in shape. But now that we live in this completely different society, we now have to commit ourselves to fitness routines, like, or just picking up a heavy rock over and over and over again, because I don't have a walk with a bucket of grain anymore, So I am curious from your perspective, because you live, Ryan, in the world of fitness, where like people dedicate their time to just go and do the fitness thing. But do you think that like society in general has been like set up in a way to like make people fail at this? Or, like, is there something tragic about the fact that like we don't have to do things that keep us up and moving anymore? Do you see where I'm going with this?
100%. Yeah, it's like it used to be, like hunting and gathering. Like if you didn't go out there and run and hunt, then you died, and then all the rest of the time you want to conserve calories. Like you're not just going to run for no reason, because we always joke, like you go to the zoo and the lion's just laying there every time, sleeping, Right. You're expecting it to be running around. But we're meant to like conserve calories because we may not get food the next day. And if we do see food, by the way, which is high fat or high sugar food, we should eat as much of it as possible right away, because there might not be some tomorrow, right? That's what our brains are made to think. So we see a pizza, we're not just thinking, I want to eat it because I like it. Like it's survival instinct. I must eat this pizza right now, and don't just run for no reason.
It is how I feel every time I see a pizza.
Absolutely.
I'm like, I must eat this. This is
right
essential to
right
life.
Now. All of it. Every bit of it.
Oh yeah. Well, you're in the middle of eating it going, I shouldn't be doing this, but then you don't stop, right? It's like, I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah.
So society has been set up to fail in that way, because once again, like, we're lying to ourselves. We think that we're supposed to do that kind of stuff. Like we're supposed to not move unless it's for mating, unless it's for survival, like running from something or running after something, and we're not supposed to like not eat certain things because we got lower calories. We're supposed to eat as fast as possible. And so the idea is people have to play all these different tricks, to get themselves to not do that stuff. I think that fitness industry, and I've been in it for 25 years now, and in the insides of it, most gyms don't want you to go, right? We all know like the Planet Fitness is $10 a month because no one's going to go. They have 5,000 members at a gym that you can have maybe a few hundred people in at a time. Nobody goes. Nobody is going to, most of the people I talk to in the fitness industry, like they're trying to sell these supplements or sell these programs or sell these gym memberships. They don't care at all about the fitness results. They just are thinking about locking you into a contract and real estate and things like that. And I'm always disheartened because I think I'm naive in a lot of ways where I'm like, people care, like everyone in these industries is caring about helping people. And there are a lot of people that do, but the vast majority, I think, they're there for like making money. So they're not incentivized, or they don't work out themselves, by the way. Most of the people that run these companies.
Right.
And they're not incentivized to actually care about results. So it's like they just keep doing the same thing over and over, whether it's just a different type of biking and lifting and like I said, Peloton, just a screen, and it's like it's a little bit better, but not much better. And so that's what I think has failed is the society has made it so we don't need those things anymore. We're not being honest with ourselves about what our brain is doing. And then 2 or 3, we have not delivered something that works for most people. And we make them feel bad about it. Just do it. Like, if you're not doing it, it's because you're bad.
Right. Yeah.
Man, everything else in the world that we're used to is the least amount that you use it, the better condition it will stay in. And the more you use it, the quicker it will wear out and break. But our bodies are the exact opposite. Right. You have to use them more and more to keep them in a better spot, and they will last longer. Literally nothing else is like that. Nothing.
So true.
Yeah, that is interesting. Well, and I gotta say, man, like, I'm really glad that you were so successful with bodybuilding.com before you got into this, so that way you're not one of those people. So you, at this point, you're like, cool, like, I made a bunch of money, let's start something that's actually gonna help now, like, let's keep the intention pure and like make an impact. And I really, really admire that. So thanks for doing that.
I appreciate it.
Of course. So
we have a great team. Like it's definitely not me. Like, I mean, I get a lot of the focus, which I appreciate, but it's like the team that we have is just like, they all care and they're all working so hard and just such smart people that are like, you would love to meet them, like super hardcore gamers. Love your podcast.
Hell yeah. Shout out to the whole BlackBox team.
Heck yeah.
Shout out to all of BlackBox. You guys,
good job,
out there,
everyone.
we love you guys. We really appreciate the work that you're doing. So I am wondering, Ryan, obviously, this is not available everywhere. You said it's in California. It's in Idaho as well. But I'm sure we have plenty of people listening right now who are not in either of those places. And they're not going to be anytime soon. And maybe you're not going to get to where they are anytime soon. So that being said, it seems like BlackBox is a great solution to use VR to achieve some fitness goals, or whatever your fitness goals are. You can get it done with this system. But what advice can you give to the nerds out there who love VR and love gaming, but maybe can't get to a BlackBox thing? What can they do now, since they're inspired by listening to us talk about this for the past hour, that you think would make an impact?
So move to Idaho. Yeah. We got lots of room. But no, honestly, there's so many great VR experiences now. I mean, find the one that you like, right? So don't force yourself to do something that you feel like you should, once again, because it's just, you're setting yourself up for failure. But I love playing Beat Saber, and that's my cardio, like on off days and things that I'm really into. I also, FitXR is just doing a great job adding new things all the time. And as we're seeing, like, some of the more traditional fitness companies like Les Mills and the exponential fitness people you might have saw, like, they have a bunch of gyms and now they're creating like some VR experiences. And Mighty Gym, like the ones you guys talked about, all these, whatever one is going to work for you, and try to play it like in a way that, like, that's the fitness way, right? Like sometimes, like, I played Beat Saber, but like I didn't really get a workout because they're just going like this with their hands, like exaggerate the movements, right? And like make it something that you can really get into. Try to bring other people into it with you as much as you can. But I think we're here talking on a VR podcast. We love VR. Whatever way that you can find to like use VR, that's going to make it so that you're getting that exercise. And it doesn't have to be that much. That's the amazing thing that people don't realize is people think, you got to work out 7 days a week and 5 hours at a time. The truth is, and more of it's coming out with the studies lately, is like you only need a small dose to get the majority of the results. So even if it means you're just doing some simple resistance training at home together with gamifying it through VR for some of your cardio, and eventually there will be more experiences that are more direct fitness. whatever works for you. But the other big part of it too, what I always tell people is diet, as we all know, is the biggest part of it. And my one tip I give people that if they're struggling is like, don't drink your calories. Just one thing you're going to do is you're not, other than protein shakes, you will never drink calories, whether it's like soda, juice, frappuccinos, calories inside any of these drinks. Don't drink your calories. You're going to immediately lose a lot of weight if you've been doing that for a while.
Switch to water.
Yeah, I want to say too that because I've tried a lot of these programs. VR Workout is an absolutely amazing workout VR program, right? Because one of the reasons I like it so much is with a lot of these things like Supernatural, it's gamified, you're swinging things with the controllers, but when you actually want to do some workout stuff, you want to get down, do some push-ups and do some of these things, that's a hard thing to do in VR because you're holding controllers. VR Workout has nailed this system with hand tracking to be able to do all different kinds of workouts in virtual reality that is also gamified, and they're also like throwing, they have new features coming out involving like artificial intelligence and all these things. That's really, really cool, and it's a really fun and multiplayer way to also work out as well, and it seems to be one of the more hardcore workout routines that you can get in a program. So I did want to throw that out there too, because VR Workout is rad. So yeah, give it a try. There's also X amount of time per day you can use it for free without any kind of subscription.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, nice. Yeah, very cool. And you can hop in with your friends. It's rad.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on something that Ryan said earlier too. I've played a lot of Beat Saber, like more than my friends, and I love that game. And one of the biggest reasons is because there is so much expression in the experience. Like earlier you said, exaggerate your movements, and I agree with that. But I would personally refine that statement to express yourself in your movements, because exaggerating almost implies that you're doing more than should be done. And if you're just expressing yourself and like vibing and like feeling like a badass when you're like slashing through the blocks, like that is the exaggeration I think that you're talking about. So 100%. Feel the music, like listen to the song, be like vibing on it, and then like realize that you're like a badass superhero anime sword slasher or whatever, and like start jamming on that thing. Like put some oomph into your swings and have fun with it. Like there's expression there. It's like being a martial artist and a musician simultaneously, and that is the most beautiful thing in the world. I will always love Beat Saber, and I will always fight for Beat Saber.
And Beat Saber just dropping a new music pack with Mike Shinoda and Linkin Park. I am actually hopping into Beat Saber tonight.
Wow.
And I am playing that. Mike Shinoda is absolutely one of my all-time favorite artists ever, which obviously came from Linkin Park, and there's Linkin Park songs in there too. So I'm stoked, man. This is one of the very first song packs from Beat Saber that I'm really excited about. That's come out in quite some time. So nice. So let's go grab that song pack.
Ryan, what do you like in VR that is just not even remotely fitness related? Like you're you're burning no calories doing.
I'm gonna try to play like almost everything because I'm just obsessed with it. But I'd say one of my favorite experiences still is Skyrim VR.
Nice.
The immersive quality of it. And I feel like almost nothing has really matched that because it's just so big, such a big world, and so many things to do. And there's a lot of new things coming out that I think we're all excited about. But like, I still wait to get that feeling again of like, I want to go over that mountain and just see what there is, and like just spend so much time in this world. And so those type of things, like, I could just get obsessed with.
I love it.
And then sometimes it's just some dumb cooking simulator type of game, and I can't stop playing it for a while.
Dude, shout out Cookout by Resolution Games. That is such a fun multiplayer game. Like, seriously, don't sleep on it. Like, it is so collaborative and so much fun, and you have to rely on communication quite a bit. You're like, we need a piece of cheese for 5. Like everybody's shouting it out. So much fun. What about like competitive stuff? Do you do any like first person shooters or anything tactical, anything like that?
I haven't done a lot, but obviously Pop 1 is one of the best, and the free to play aspect of it is so huge, because what I always hated was tell my friends like, hey, let's play this game, and it's like, oh, it's $39.99, and so it's like kind of limited. Excited about potentially something like the Horizon Worlds games being like that too, right? Like I just want more of those type of games where we're all together, like even Poker Stars, type of games. It's like just sometimes we'll do like we do all of our meetings at BlackBox, or most of them inside the Horizon workrooms, which is very exciting because it's so. I mean, some of our remote developers, like I either see once a year or never, and like I feel like I'm hanging out with them in that type of experience. Poker Stars or like Pop One or something. It's Echo Arena back before it went away. Those type of games where you feel like you're really there with them and you have some kind of shared purpose, or you're competing. Like those never get old. But I got it. Every game with whether it's breachers or contractors or it's like try them all. It's like I think the frustration we all have with VR, which hopefully is getting close to being over with, is a lot of times like you want to play a multiplayer game, and we're used to like if you want to play multiplayer. Rocket League, like you got to match like in a second, and sometimes that's just not the case with some of these games. So it's so exciting that like it's starting to really be where like you can get that immediate satisfaction.
Ashley is asking about the Beat Saber release. It is actually like 50. It's like a mix between Linkin Park and Mike Shinoda. There's like Mike Shinoda solo stuff, and then there's some Linkin Park stuff in there too. So they're calling it Linkin Park / Mike Shinoda song pack, right?
Man, I love Mike Shinoda.
Yeah, he's
so good.
He's rad.
He's so good.
So anyway, you were talking about liking Population 1 because it's free to play, and of course that got me thinking about a question that we didn't ask, right? What does it cost to participate in BlackBox VR?
So it's pretty typical, like kind of boutique gym kind of pricing. So it's between $150 to $180 per month. That'll give you, access to the private booths at a certain amount of times per week. So there's different ways to add on more, there's different ways to get it a little bit cheaper, but typical F45, SoulCycle, Orange Theory type of pricing, CrossFit gym type of pricing.
Okay, so it's like $100 to $150 per month. If I go 3 times a week, where's ChatGPT when I need it? Roughly per session, we might be looking at like what, $15 per session or something like that.
Yeah. So I think it's between like $8 and like $15 depending per session, depending on like what level that you're at and which how often you want to go and how often you use it. And we're really like, we want like 250 members per gym. A lot of those gyms that I talked about have like 500 or 800 members. Which it's weird because like you have 800 members that work out of this gym, but they can only have 24 or 36 people in a class. It means that most of those people aren't going, and they're still paying, $180 to $200 per month. Our goal is like we want people that are going to use it. Like if you're not using it, like we don't want you there because we're just taking your money for nothing. So if we can just get that core group of people that can create that community, that tribe, motivate each other, and that really truly value it. Like some people might like, I can get Planet Fitness for $10 a month, or these other ones for $30 a month, but almost nobody uses them, right? So $30 a month for something you don't use is probably not a good deal. Like we want this to be the thing that you're obsessed with and that helps you reach your goals as fast as possible.
Amen. And if you really are leveraging it, the value is there, right? Like to your point, like if you're not showing up, $100 a month is going to sting. But if you're going 3 times a week and like you have your community there, your tribe, you're vibing, like you're challenging each other and setting high scores, like that starts to become a little bit more approachable, especially when it is A, replacing any of your other expenses that are fitness related, and B, providing you so much entertainment and like cost value just for the amount of time that
it is your personal trainer. I mean, basically the game is your personal trainer. It is helping you, guide you to what you need to be doing to get those results.
Amen. I love it. So we're getting pretty close to wrapping this up now, Ryan. But I do want to one last time, or I guess for the first time, because we've just been hammering you with questions this whole podcast. But what's something that we didn't get to, right? Like something that's either really important about your journey or about what BlackBox VR is doing or the greater VR industry as a whole. What's something that's important that we haven't had a chance to get to that you think maybe we should bring up before we start to wrap this up?
Oh, that's a great question. I think we kind of touched on it, where it's like supporting VR creators, supporting the games, that are trying to make a difference when it comes to something like fitness, and I know that that's obviously what you guys live for, is helping to support the VR industry, because we all go through the ups and downs, right? So I've been really like hardcore into this since 2015, and it's amazing how it's almost like month to month, like VR's making it, then it's not making it. It's like, it's like we all go up and down. I think just stay in the course. I think maybe my message is to creators, whether it's game creators or influencers or content creators, is that I remember the early days of cyberspace, going back to that. It's amazing how many people I had to try to convince that the internet was going to stay around. It wasn't a fad. It was useful. It's going to be better. And the beginning days, it was not that easy to use, and it was complicated. Like, we are at that point now where it's going to be this massive thing. I think all of us just need to, we're in it for the long term, that marathon, and it's going to be worth it. It's going to be amazing. The dreams are going to come true that we all have, whether it's in the fitness industry, whether it comes from education, whether it comes from communities and the social, and obviously gaming. We're right on that cusp. And so I'm so proud to be a part of that community, and just want to tell everybody, just stick with it. We've got this.
We've got this. It's cat's out of the bag, people. All right. Trains left the station. We are good. We are going to get there. Yep. And, haters be damned, right? Let them write VR is dead articles, and don't click on them, people. Screenshot it and share it like that. Do not click on those.
And don't share the clickable links. You don't want to add to their traffic.
Right. Exactly.
Agreed.
Okay, Ryan. So I gotta say, it's been great to see you again. I can't believe it's been 3 years. That's insane. And I know we're not physically sharing space, but I do hope that we have the opportunity to in the next year, right? Maybe start eyeballing some of the events and come and meet us for one of these things,
I would love to.
If anybody is interested in your journey, the VR Fitness Insider podcast, BlackBox VR, what's the best way to get in touch with you or follow you? Where are you active?
So you can follow me on Twitter at VR. So that's one.
Sick.
Also, reach out to me there. No problem. I love interacting and getting feedback and ideas and criticism, whatever it is, and it's very helpful. You can also just email me at ryan@blackbox-vr.com. Pretty simple. But really hope to have a gym near you guys, near everybody listening here. We're going into franchising. We're right about to start launching that. So if anybody wants to potentially run their own VR fitness gym in their town, it's obviously a financial opportunity, but it's also it's so much more fun. I kind of always pinch myself. I get to for my job, I'm working with video games, VR, new technology, fitness, and helping people get in shape and change their life. And we're trying to find more people that want to do that and start one near Skiva.
I love it. Ryan's out there living the dream, everybody. All right. So if you want to join in, you know who to hit up. Ryan Deluca, dude, thank you again. This was a really great time, and I'm inspired at this point, man. I'm ready to go.
I know,
crush a bunch of reps.
I know. We need to do one of these podcasts with someone in VR fitness every day. So we get out and we're like, all right, let's go. It's workout time.
Yeah,
get some.
All right, Ryan. Thanks again, brother. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and stay in touch. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Everybody say bye to Ryan with us.
Bye,
Ryan.
See you.
And he gone.
There he goes.
Just like that.
There he goes.
All right, now to shift back into the mindset of snacks, and relaxing, and no, it really is inspiring. And honestly, people, being in shape is important, right? Maybe you think it's not, and maybe you just don't care, and you've accepted your reality or whatever. But at the end of the day, you have an obligation to your fellow man to take care of yourself. Okay, this is a collective that we all are participating in, collective consciousness and collective physicality too. So let's all get in shape, and maybe we can leverage VR to do it.
Heck yeah. I am definitely going to be doing that later. I've been on a kick lately where I'm trying to kind of power walk around at least a mile or two a day, trying to catch Pokemon in Pokemon Go. Nice. And then I definitely need a little bit more. So I'm going to be,
that's a huge step in the right direction. Just spending some time with fitness as your intention every day is going to get you where you're trying to go. So good job, man. Keep
Thanks.
that up.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I've been trying to do the same. I've lost a little bit of weight, but I've got a little bit more to go. So.
Yeah, you're doing great, man.
Thank you.
I'm watching you transform.
Feels pretty good. Yeah, I lost 20 pounds, but I got another 20 at least. Yeah, I could probably lose another 20.
A lot more than that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we're going to get there together, all right? And with our community as well. So thank you all for listening to this amazing episode of the Between Realities VR podcast that has been focused on fitness with Ryan Deluca from BlackBox VR.
That was rad. Great guest.
Dude, Kenzie, thanks for the shout out on the shirt, man. I really like it. This was a good choice.
Heck yeah.
All right, so what now? What are we doing? What's next?
Well, next week we will be returning with another podcast with special guests from my work Impact Reality. So we'll have Eric from Q2C VR Gamer and Jasmine from VR with Jasmine. Both are my are co-founders at Impact Reality.
Fun.
Where we do PR and marketing for video games. We launch games. We consult on games, and we do all the game stuff. We are trying to raise as many of these titles up into public awareness as possible to grow virtual reality. And new things are always happening there, and it's going to be awesome. And Eric and Jasmine are just fun to talk to. So it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Like, are you going to be able to stay on this side of the line? Are you going to be able to stay on the between realities side of things with your Impact homes?
Yeah, I think so. The question is, will our fellow podcaster, Eric, that does 47 podcasts a week, be able to hand the reins over?
He's been on Between Realities already. He knows the score.
He's a beautiful human.
Knows that he can't square up with the likes of Alex VR. And I'm treating them as guests. All right, these are very close friends of ours, right?
Yes.
And I could bullshit with them all day long.
Yep.
But they are Impact Reality, so we are going to learn what it takes to. Like, we've all seen it, like literally, like in this past year, we have watched it all together, watched Impact Reality go from a concept to in real life happening. And now you guys are crushing it so hard. It's not even funny.
Oh, thanks, man.
Oh, thanks you. So I'm really excited to dive in, not just with our friends, but with the industry professionals that Impact Reality truly are. So it's going to be a fun one.
Love that.
It's going to be a fun one. Other than that, are you gaming this weekend?
I am. I absolutely am.
You're going to be in Resonite?
Well, that's the thing. I'm hoping to diversify my gaming this weekend, but Resonite just came out. All these people are hopping in there for the first time and exploring. So, if I can help get some people in there and show them a good time and show them why Resonite's awesome, then very cool. Hop onto our xrupdate.com and click on my Resonite article and check it out. And you can kind of see, why I feel this way about Resonite and why I loved Neos in the past and where I think all of this is going. And yeah, so that'd be great. And I will see you in there, or I will see you somewhere, maybe on the other end of a Tabor rifle. So
there you go.
We'll see.
Hey, well, if you want to play a VR game with me, you better go buy a PlayStation VR 2 and install Firewall, because apparently that's all I do in VR these days. That's the only thing that really gets me excited in the headset right now.
Well, it's great, man. It's awesome. Like you always say, it's awesome to have those games that pull you in, that excite you, and you're you're hanging out and you're like, man, I want to be playing that. Mm-hmm. That continues to be Ghost of Tabor for me. Mm-hmm. I want to make a shift to another game in some weird way, right? Because I love Tabor so much, but I also want to play other things, but I just keep getting sucked back into Tabor because it's so damn good.
I've removed the pressure from myself.
Yeah.
Like, I used to feel so much pressure to play everything, and everybody's going to a game, and I'm like, well, I guess I gotta go with them. But at this point, I've done a pretty good job of identifying what is really fulfilling to me in the experiences. And a game like Firewall, there's tension that you can just cut with a knife.
That's awesome.
I love it. I'm all about it. So anyway, I do need to start playing No Man's Sky Arcane.
No Man's Sky, yes, I have been playing that, and I'm sure I will be in No Man's Sky too. Creeper Betty's been getting super into it on the PSVR now too, because
if you do, you ping me, because I do want to get in there. So if you're going to play No Man's Sky,
absolutely.
And you know what we'll do? We will ping the multiplayer channel in our Discord server. So everybody join our Discord. Links are in the description below. And we'll get into some No Man's Sky this weekend.
Heck yeah.
That sounds
awesome.
Cool.
Sweet.
Sounds great. All right. Well, I guess that's a wrap.
I guess so.
Between Realities, Season 7, Episode 18. Yeah, geez, dude. Yeah. Look at us.
Getting close to the end of this season.
We are.
A new break coming up here very soon.
Yeah,
so
we have maybe 3 or 4 more. Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, we are getting close to the end.
We are.
So anyway, like and subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yes, please do. That would be helpful.
Thank you all for tuning in. Whether you were here from Upload, shout out Upload VR, we're correspondents. We love you guys. Or you're listening to the audio versions, or you saw this live on YouTube, like Red/Ace and Traveling Man and Arcanian and Ryan B and my wife Brittany and James and Duggars K and Kensei Gaming and Hussein X and Mickey Bear and Ashley C and Michelle B and Amelia Faust and Space Denizen and Brannon VR slid up in here. ePilot 007, Gamertag VR was here earlier. Reza 2020 was up in here. Field of Render as well. Dan Kitty VR. Riamu VR, all y'all. So
beautiful community.
Thanks for being here. Beautiful. And we'll see you in a week with the Impact Reality XR team.
Heck yeah. Let's go.
Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.